You've worked hard your whole career, you've saved for retirement, and now you're getting divorced. Does your spouse really get half of your retirement account? Wait, how is that fair? Well, it's part of equitable distribution, whether it's a 401k, an IRA, a pension, a defined benefit plan of any sort. If you accumulated it during the course of the marriage, it's subject to equitable distribution. From the date you got married to the date that complaint was filed, that's your period of time that we're looking at. Now, if you put money in there prior to the date of the marriage, don't worry, that money's safe. And if you continue to put money in that account post-complaint, don't worry, that money is safe. But that money in between is subject to division unless you are one of the brilliant people that settle their case, they don't go to trial, and we have some creative solution in mediation. Sometimes my client says to me, my pension is the most important thing to me, protect it. So then we're trading. We're trading another asset. There might be another asset, can't guarantee it, but if the pension is the thing my client wants to protect, oftentimes there's an asset we can trade with, where your spouse says, okay, I'll waive interest in the pension, but give me this instead. These are all things you can consider if you take the route of alternative dispute resolution. If you go into court, the judge has no ability to be creative. Everything gets divided, including your retirement. A QDRO is a qualified domestic relations order. Now, you have to love lawyers and courts because we have acronyms and abbreviations for everything. So that QDRO is your qualified domestic relations order, and that is how we divide your 401k. There are companies that do this work for us for a pretty nominal cost, and that is also how we segregate the amount in that account that's subject to equitable distribution. So if you put money in the account before the date of the complaint and you continue to put money in after the date of complaint, the companies that prepare the QDRO will segregate the amount that's subject to equitable distribution, calculate the gains or the losses on that money, and divide it for your spouse. That is what a QDRO is, that is how it works, and that is what we do with a 401k. We're coming up on the end of your divorce, and now you have retirement assets that you need to shift, transfer, give to your soon-to-be former spouse. Do you pay tax on that? Now, I am not an accountant, nor am I a tax attorney. So while I'm not giving tax advice, I can give you a little breather here. You are not liquidating the funds in your IRA and then handing that money over to your spouse. Instead, we're doing a transfer of these assets over to your spouse, and those are non-taxable transfers. So I'm not liquidating my 401k, paying the tax, paying the penalty, and then giving that cash over to my spouse. Instead, I'm transferring my spouse's interest in my retirement asset. So you're not paying tax. That would be a double penalty. I'm giving you half and I pay the tax on it. No, that's not the way it works. You're getting divorced and you're over 50 and you're saying, my gosh, I am nearing retirement and now my spouse is taking half of my retirement assets. Those are some of the most difficult cases that I settle. And what do I say to my client? Engage your financial advisor early. If you don't have one, find one, because now you are taking an asset that you thought you'd have 100% to rely upon in retirement, and you now only have half. On social media, they'll call these the gray divorces. As for me, I'm not going gray over 50. Call the divorce what you want. I say those of us that are approaching retirement and getting divorced need the guidance of a financial planner early on in the process so that we do not ruin ourselves financially in retirement just because we got divorced. Retirement, divorce, what do the two have to do with each other? Everything and maybe nothing for you. It is a look at how we're going to live post-divorce when we've perhaps divided our retirement assets. And it is also an exploration of, can we protect any of those assets from division in the course of our divorce? Retirement and divorce are two difficult conversations. Having a skilled team of mediators and maybe tapping in some financial advisors along the way is the best way to go through this process.